Although Vita Health Group provided this exercise class provisional with your health and safety in mind, each individual participant has their own limitations and should consult their general practitioner or an appropriate medical professional prior to undertaking the class. Should you be prone to injury, are currently pregnant, or be managing any functional limiting medical conditions, please seek medical confirmation prior to participating. At all times, ensure you follow all instructions provided by Vita Health Groups throughout the entirety of the recording. Should you experience any symptoms of dizziness, nausea, or increased pain at any point during your participation, please stop and seek the appropriate advice from your general practitioner or the 111 service.
Hello and welcome to today's class. My name's Danny and I'll be your instructor for today. This class is our intermediate lower back class. It's made for people who are suffering with lower back pain but have that past experience in exercise at an intermediate level. We're going to target all of the major muscle groups in and around the lower back in this class, and the aim of it is to improve sort of strength, coordination and flexibility. All of the equipment that you'll need for today's class is going to be shown on screen. So all you need to do is go and grab a drink and we'll get started with our warm-up. Let's get started with our warm-up then. So with this warm-up, we're aiming to increase our heart rate, activate the muscles, increase mobility, all ready for our exercise class that's coming up. So we're going to start off nice and simple with just some marching on the spot. We're going to be doing this for 1 minute. Do it at your own pace, whether you want to go nice and slow or quite fast, completely up to you. Fab, let's get going for 1 minute then. Make sure we're swinging those arms, lifting the feet nice and high whilst we're marching. Remember, we're working to increase that heart rate. So just taking it at your own pace. That's great, keep swinging those arms, lifting those knees nice and high. And we are nearly halfway there. Great. Again, taking it at your own pace, just as we start the warm-up. Okay, 10 more seconds. Great, and bring that down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, next thing we're going to do, we're just going to do some jogging on the spot this time. We're only going to go for 30 seconds this time. Again, doing it at your own pace. Just make sure that you've got a nice, safe environment around you. Okay, when we're ready, off we go. Again, make sure we're moving those arms and lifting those feet nice and high off the floor. That's it, halfway there. Good, 5 seconds left. And bring it down to a stop. Brilliant. Okay, so next thing we're going to do, we're going to go to do some hip circles. So for this one, I want your feet sort of shoulder width apart on the floor and the hands just resting on your hips. We're going to start off with very small circles. So we're going to sort of push the hips to one side, bring them round to the front and round to the back. Again, just do them at your own pace, and also with the circle, just make it as small or as big as you can, depending on how you're feeling. We're going to go for 30 seconds. When we're ready, off we go. That's it. So just make sure we're concentrating on really pushing those hips all the way around the movement. That's good. Because we're coming up to halfway, we're going to switch and go in the opposite direction. Again, like I said, if you need to do small circles with how you're feeling at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Or nice and big circles, doesn't matter. Great, and come to a stop. Okay, for the next exercise, we're going to go into doing some leg swings. For this one, I'm going to do it just freestanding, but if you need to, you can hold onto a wall, hold onto the back of a chair, whichever works best for you. We're going to start off with our right leg. So again, like I said, holding on to something for stability if needs be. We're going to go for 30 seconds. We're just going to lift the leg out in front of us and then slowly lift behind. Okay, off we go. So just swinging that leg at your own pace. Like I said, if you need to hold on to something, then that's absolutely fine. Good. That's great. Keeping the knee nice and straight and just swinging back and forwards. That's it. We've got 5 seconds left on this leg and then we'll switch over. Great. Okay. So if you need to swing the chair around to the other side or reposition yourself so that you can hold onto the wall the opposite way, that's fine. And then we'll go for 30 seconds again. So on the left leg this time, swinging back and forth. That's great. Again, just doing it at your own pace, lifting the leg in a range of movement that's comfortable for you. Good. Okay, 10 seconds left on this leg. Great, and come to a stop, just back into our resting position. So the next activity that we're going to do is going to be with our arms. We're going to go for some arm circles. So what we'll do, we'll start off with our right arm because we started with our right leg. We'll pop our hand out to the side. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with some circles, just going backwards like this. If you need to do the circles nice and small, that's absolutely fine. Obviously, if you can, then we're going to do nice big circles with the arm. Again, just do whatever feels comfortable for you at the moment. And again, we're going to go for 30 seconds. That's it. Like I said, make sure we're doing this one in a comfortable range of movement. It can be as small or as big as you need at the moment. That's great, we've done 15 seconds on this arm. That's great, last 5 seconds. Brilliant, okay. And this time we're going to do the exact same on the left arm. So again, arm out to the side. You can do small circles if you need to. Obviously big ones if you can as well. Fab, off we go, 30 seconds on this one. That's great. Again, just going at the speed that sort of works for you at the moment. If you need to move nice and slowly through this movement, that's fine. Obviously, if you can, then obviously we'll go a bit quicker. That's great, and just 5 more seconds. Perfect, okay. Last exercise of our warm-up, we're going to do some movements with our spine. So we're going to work in 4 different directions. We're going to go for a forward movement, a backwards movement, and then side to side as well. So what I'll do first is I'll show you what we're going to do, and then I'll explain how many we're going to do after that. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. For the forwards movement, I'd like you to have your hands resting on the front of your legs. And then what I want you to do nice and slowly is just come down as far as you can until you start to feel that bit of a stretch in the lower back, and then return up to your neutral position. Then we'll go for the opposite. So this time I'll turn to the side to show you, you're going to lean backwards. Again, just a gentle movement and back up to the neutral position. Then hands down by our sides. It doesn't matter which side you do first, but you're going to bend over to the side, back up and over to the other side. We're going to do 5 in each direction. Again, just going as far as you can. Okay, we'll do them all together. So if we start at the front, we're going to come down, just go as far as you can, and then back up to that neutral position. Then we're going to lean back, again to the neutral position, hands down by our sides, drop one hand down the side of the leg, back up, and then over to the side. So that's 1 repetition. So now we'll go for our second. So again, we're going to come back down the front, nice and slowly and controlled. And then this time lean backwards. That's great. And then down to one side. back up and over into the other direction. Brilliant, onto number 3, so back to the front, coming down as far as you can, and back up, and then leaning back, and back into that neutral position. Hands down by our sides, and we'll go over to one side, and back up, then over to the other side, and back up. And now for number 4, back to the front, leaning forwards, and back up. Hands on our hips, and we'll lean backwards, back to our neutral position, and down to one side, and back over to the other direction. Brilliant, last one now, hands back on the front. We're going to lean down as far as we can, back up to the middle, hands on our hips, and lean back, back to the middle, and then this time we'll drop down one side, back up, and then down to the other side. Okay, that completes our warm-up. So if you want to go and grab a bottle of water ready for our exercise class, and we'll get started. Okay, this exercise that we're going to do is called the bird dog. What we're going to do is we're going to do 8 repetitions and 2 sets. But once we've on our final repetition of each set, we're also going to do some pulses with the leg. I'll explain all of that when we're on the mats and in the right positions. So what we need to do for this exercise, we need to be on all 4s on the mat. So just take your time getting down. If you need to pause the video whilst we get into that position, then feel free. Okay, so like I said, we're going to be in an all 4s position on the mat. So I want the hands directly below the shoulders and the knees directly below the hips. So we're in this sort of tabletop all 4 position. What we're going to do from here is nice and slowly, we're going to lift one leg out behind us whilst also lifting the opposite arm out in front. Okay, and the whole time I want you to try and keep the spine nice and parallel to the floor. Okay, so for this one, you really need to engage those core muscles, and we'll go nice and slowly, lifting the arms out. We're going to do the same side for 8 repetitions, and then we'll do some pulses with the leg like this at the end of the set. Okay, so let's start with our right hand and our left leg. From here, we'll go nice and slowly up for number 1, and back down. And again. Make sure the movement is nice and controlled. That's it. Good. Make sure we're squeezing that core the whole time. Good. And then on this next one, we're going to come out into that position, bring the arm back down, but leave the left leg. And we're going to do 10 little pulses up and down with the left leg. Keeping the spine nice and straight. Good. And then relax from there. Okay, before we move on to the opposite side, we're going to have a little rest. So take 20 seconds, get yourself a drink of water if you need one, and then we'll come back to do the other side. Okay, so let's go onto our opposite side. So this time, again, we'll be in that all 4s position. Hands directly below the shoulders, knees directly below the hips. And this time, we're lifting the left arm and we're lifting the right foot. Okay, so remembering to keep this core nice and tight, try and keep the spine parallel to the floor if you can. Okay, and we'll go nice and slowly, 8 repetitions, and then we'll do those pulses on the last repetition. Okay, so arm and leg out and back in, nice and slowly and controlled. If you feel like you're a little bit wobbly, just take your time, or maybe don't lift the arms and legs as high, and you'll be able to work up to that. Okey-doke. So on this one, we're going to bring the arm back down, leave the right leg out behind us, and then we're going to do 10 of those little pulses, making sure to keep breathing nice and slowly through the movement. Great. Okay. So that's our bird dog exercise complete. If you do want another drink of water, then please feel free to go and get one, and we'll come back in 20 seconds for our next exercise.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so this exercise is called the kneeling hip abduction. We're going to be on all fours on the floor for this one. So take your time getting down into that position. When we're in our kneeling position, we need to have our knees directly below our hips and then our hands directly below our shoulders in a nice, steady all four position. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to go 1 foot at a time, and we're going to lift our knee in this position out to the side and then back down. Okay, we're going to do 8 repetitions of that movement. On number 8, we're going to keep the knee out to the side, and we're going to do little pulses with the knee in that position for 10 seconds. Okay, so into our tabletop position, knee out to the side and back down. So we're squeezing these muscles on the side of the hip to lift the leg out and back down. Okay, off we go. That's 1, and in, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep breathing nice and steady. Okay, on the next one, on number 8, we're going to hold at the top and we're going to do little pulses. So don't bring the knee the whole way down. For 10 seconds. Off we go. Great. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to switch sides. So I'll rotate just so that you can see what we're doing, but you can stay in the same position. So back in to that all four position, and with the opposite leg now, we're going to lift out to the side and back down. So this bit should be nice and slow. Go in and out. Just lift the knee as high as you can, trying to keep the back nice and straight and parallel to the floor. If we're lifting the leg too high, you might be rotating the hips, and we don't want any of that. So keeping the back nice and straight. Okay, 3 more. And remember, on number 8, we're going to lift the leg, and we're just going to pulse up and down for 10 seconds. Off we go. That's great. Okay, and then back down into that relaxed position. So we're going to take 20 seconds, have a quick drink if you need one, and then we'll come back for a second set. Okay, back for our second set then. So we're going to go back into our all four position. So remember, knees below the hips, hands below the shoulders. And then from here, we're going to take our leg, lift out to the side, nice and slowly, and back down. We've got 8 repetitions. So that's 3, nice and steady. Breathe in nice and slowly. And then on number 8, we're going to lift the leg and pulse for 10 seconds. That's good. And then come back down. Okay, we're going to switch sides now. So as before, I'm going to turn around, but you can just stay where you are. So knees below the hips, hands below the shoulders, and then off we go on the other leg. So nice and slowly, lift those legs. Nice steady breathing, keeping that spine in line with the floor. That's good. 4 more. Good. on this one, we're going to hold and then do those pulses for 10 seconds. Still keeping that spine nice and straight. Good. Okay, brilliant. Take your time getting back up into your standing position. We're going to take 20 seconds again, get yourself a quick drink, and then we'll go on to the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is called the Superman. So for this one, we're going to be lying on our front on the floor. So make sure you've got a soft surface to lie on. Take your time getting down to the floor. If you need to pause the video and join back in once you're there, that's absolutely fine. So like I said, we're going to be lying on our front on the floor. Our arms are going to come out in front of us, nice and straight. Once we start the exercise, our forehead is going to be resting on the ground. But obviously whilst I'm explaining, I'll keep my head up. So what we're going to do, we're going to alternate arms and legs. So you're going to lift, for example, your right arm and your left leg at the same time. Lift up, hold it for a second and come back down. Then switch the other side and then come back down. But like I said, with the forehead on the floor, we're going to do 10 repetitions on each side. Okay, so once we've done both sides, that will count as 1 repetition and we're going to do 10 total. Okay? Right, off we go. So lift and down, nice and slowly and controlled. That's 1 repetition. You shouldn't hear the arms and the feet coming back down to the floor. It should be nice and controlled. And nice steady breathing throughout in this one. That's good. That's 4 repetitions. Right, keep going, nice steady breathing. Holding for that little bit of time at the top. Good. 2 more on each side. Squeezing all those muscles to lift the arms and legs off the floor. And relax from there. Okay, we'll take a little break. Grab a drink, take 20 seconds, and then we'll come back for a second set. Okay, let's get started with our second set then. So back onto the floor on our front. Arms out in front. Remember, head down to the mat. And then off we go. We're going to lift opposite arm and leg. And lower back down. Other side. And back down. That's 1 repetition. And lower gently. Okay. Lift, hold, and lower. Good. Squeezing all those muscles. So lift the arms and legs off the floor just as much as you can. Okay, we've got 5 more on each side. Try and keep that head down towards the mat if you can. That's great, 3 more on each side. Nice steady breathing as well throughout. Good, 1 more. That's great. Very good, and just take your time getting back up into a standing position. And that's the end of that exercise. So let's take 20 seconds, grab yourself a quick drink, and then we'll come back for the next one. Okay, so this exercise is the bent leg body twist. This one is a stretch, so we're going to be doing static holds. We're going to do 20 seconds, 3 times through on each side. So for this one, we're going to be lying on our backs on the mat, so take your time to get down. If you need to pause, then do so. Okay, so we're going to lie down on our backs. The arms are going to be out to the side. Nice and straight, pressing them into the floor. The knees are going to be in a bent position. We have the knees at sort of about a 45-degree angle. Squeeze the feet together and squeeze the knees together. They're going to stay together throughout this whole exercise. So it doesn't matter which side we go to first, because we're going to do the same amount on each side. What you're going to do from here, keeping the shoulders still, is just drop the knees down to the side. Just go as far as you can. Keeping the shoulders flat on the floor. And off we go. We're going to hold for 20 seconds. Okay, don't worry about how far you can go on this one. It's completely down to yourself and how you feel. You should just be feeling a gentle stretch in the lower back. If it's anything more than that and you're getting any pain, then just come out of the stretch. Don't go so far. Okay, back up into our neutral position. And now we're going to do the exact same thing, just over to the opposite side. That's great, you should be feeling that stretch down the lower back, maybe a little bit into the glutes as well. Just going as far as you can. That's great, nice steady breathing. Great, and back up. Okay, let's go back over to the first side. So we're going to drop down and off we go. We're going to hold for 20 seconds. Breathe in nice and steady, keeping these shoulders flat on the floor. If you find that your shoulders are lifting up, it might be that we're going too far into the stretch, so just come out of the stretch slightly. That's it. Okay, back up into that neutral position, and we're going to go over to the opposite side. So knees together, feet together, and drop down. Just as far as you can. If you can go further than I can and get the knees towards the floor, that's great. If you can't go as far, that's also absolutely fine. The more we do it, the easier it'll get. Okay. And back up into that neutral position. Okay, we've got one more on each side. So we're just gonna lower the legs down just as far as you can. Making sure it's just that gentle stretch that we're feeling, not the pain. That's great. And back up into that neutral position. Okay, one more then. So on the last one, we're just going to drop down to the side and off we go for 20 seconds. That's good, just feeling that gentle stretch, trying to relax the body into that position. Okay, and back up into that neutral position. Take your time to get back up into a standing position. That's great. Okay, and we're just going to take a 20-second break. If you need a quick drink or anything like that, then make sure that you grab one, and then we will come back for the next exercise. Okay, so this exercise is going to be our prone trunk extension. For this one, we're going to be lying down on our front. So make sure you take the time to get down to the floor. If you need to pause, then feel free. So we're going to lie on our front, on the floor. And this time, our hands are going to come behind our backs. If you find that that's a bit uncomfortable, you can have the hands down by your sides on the floor, making sure we're not pressing into the floor, just keeping them relaxed. Okay, the head's going to start on the floor, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to lift the chest up off the floor just as high as you can. Hold for 2 seconds and then lower back down. Okay, we're going to do 10 repetitions, then we'll have a break and then we'll come back and do 10 more. So, like I said, hands behind your back. If that's not very comfortable, then you can pop them down on the floor. But when we're pushing up, make sure we're not using our hands to help. We're going to start with the head down and lift. Hold for 2 seconds and lower back down. Okay, and up. And back down. Just go as high as you can. If you can only come slightly off the floor, that's fine. If you can lift higher up, that's also fine. That's great, and lift again. We should feel the muscles in the lower back engaging on this one. Trying to pull us up. Down. Okay, 4 more. Just doing that couple of seconds hold up at the top. Okay, last one. That's great. Okay, so we're just going to take a 20-second break, grab a drink if you need one, and then we'll come back for our second set. Okay, so for our second set, we're going to do exactly the same thing. So just lower yourself onto the floor into a comfortable position. Pop the hands behind your back, like if it's comfortable. If not, then obviously just popping them back down on the floor like before. Head down to the floor, and off we go for 10 more. So we're going to lift, hold for a couple of seconds, and lower back down. And lift. And lower. So although we're focusing on the lifting for this exercise, we don't want to then let the body drop back down to the floor. It needs to be nice and controlled. And back down. That's it, lift. And back down. Okay, 5 more then. Holding for a couple of seconds at the top. Nice steady breathing as well on this one. 2 more then. Just going as high as you feel comfortable. And last one. Okay, that's great. So take your time to come back up into a standing position. And then we're going to take a 20-second break and we'll come back for our next exercise.
Yeah.
Okay, so this exercise that we're doing now is going to be the side plank. So we're going to do 15 seconds on each side, 3 times through. If you feel like 15 seconds is too much for you at the moment, that's absolutely fine. Just go until you feel comfortable and then come down. But if not, then yeah, we're going to go through 3 times on each side, 15 seconds. So carefully lower yourself down to the floor. I'm going to be on our side for this exercise. So we're going to pop down onto the floor. We're going to go on our elbow for this side plank. So we want the elbow to be directly below the shoulder. Legs out so that we've got the ankles, knees, hips, shoulders all in a nice straight line. And then from here, what you're going to do, you're just going to lift the hips up and we're going to hold to 15. If you find that it's a little bit unstable holding it like this, you can put one foot in front of the other and that will help with stability. But if not, one on top of the other. Okay, and then come back down from there. And we're going to switch sides. So we'll go on to the opposite side. Elbow down directly underneath the shoulder. Feet out to the side. And then off we go. 15. I'm making sure that we're keeping the core nice and engaged on this one. The body should be in a straight line, including the head, so we don't want the head sort of lifting up or forwards or back, anything like that. And then stop there. Okay, if you need to take a little bit of a break, then you can. Grab yourself a drink, just pause the video. But if not, then we'll go straight back into doing the other side. That's it, so swapping over, elbow directly below the hands again, just helps with that stability. Feet on top of each other, all of the joints in line up the body, and off we go. Keeping that core engaged, keeping the body nice and straight. If you need to, you can use the other arm for stability. Pop it on your hip, wherever's comfortable for you. Good, and then relax. Okay, back over to the other side then. Like I said, at any point if you do need more of a break, just pause the video and then come back when you feel ready. Okay, so elbow below the shoulder, feet on the opposite end of the mat, keeping them in line with the body, and off we go. When you're ready, lift up. Keeping that core engaged, really squeezing all the muscles. Focus on staying in that nice straight line. Good. And then come down. Brilliant. Okay, so we've got one more on each side to do. As I said before, if you do need any extra time, then just pause the video and come back when you feel ready. Okay, get yourself into the right position. Elbow directly below the shoulder, feet in line with the hips, and off we go. We're going to lift up. Very good. Okay, nice steady breathing if you can. Feeling those muscles work nice and hard. Good. Okay, brilliant. Right, last one then. I'm going to flip over to the opposite side. And off we go. So, shoulder over the elbow and lift up. Great. Keeping that core nice and tight and engaged. Breathing nice and steady if you can. And come down from there. Great, well done. Okay, so nice and steady, get to your feet. Okay, we're going to take 20 seconds then before we move on to our next exercise. Make sure you grab yourself a drink and then we'll be back for the next one. Okay, so for this exercise, we're going to be doing a standing hamstring stretch. So you will need a chair for this exercise or something that's around the same height as a standard chair. We're going to be doing 3 repetitions on each leg and we're going to be holding each stretch for 20 seconds. With the stretches, when we're going through the movement, once you start to feel a gentle stretch, just stop at that point of the movement. I'm going to show you a few different variations, but try with me, and when you start to feel the stretch, stop at that point, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to stand facing our chair. We're going to lift one leg up so that the heel is resting on the chair. From here, what you're going to do, you're going to gently push the knee down towards the floor until you start to feel a stretch down the back of the leg. If you aren't feeling a stretch at that point with the leg fully straight, you can pop the hands on the front of the legs and start to lean forwards just as far as you can. Obviously, if you start to feel the stretch before that point, that's fine. Just hold it at where feels right for you at the moment, okay? Right, off we go then for 20 seconds. Breathing nice and slowly with this one because it is a stretch. Good, you should feel it down the back of the leg between the hip and the knee in those hamstring muscles. It's great, 5 more seconds on this one. Great. Okay, and relax from there. So we're going to swap over to the other leg, exactly the same thing. So you're going to pop the heel on the chair, bring the knee down towards the floor until you start to feel that stretch down the back. If you don't feel the stretch with the leg straight, then add the extra lean forwards in until you do feel that stretch, okay? Off we go for 20 seconds. So like we said, should be feeling that gentle stretch, shouldn't be painful. If it's painful, then we've probably gone too far. So just come out of the stretch slightly. That's great, nice steady breathing. Okay, and gently bring the leg back down. Okay, so we've got 2 more on each leg. So let's pop the other one on the chair, with the heel on the chair, and then bring the knee down towards the floor. If you need to, hand on the leg and lean forwards, just until we feel that gentle stretch. It's great, holding it there, breathing nice and steady. Remember, if you feel the stretch whilst we're upright, whilst we're just pushing the knee down, that's absolutely fine. Just stay in that position. Okay, and bring the foot down to the floor. Right, let's go on to the next one. So heel on the chair again. Bring that knee down towards the floor. If you feel the stretch at that point, absolutely fine, stay here. If not, add the lean in, and off we go for 20 seconds. Like we said before, it should just be that gentle pulling, stretching feeling, not painful. Okay, and slowly bring the leg back down. Right, we've got 1 more on each leg, so off we go. Heel onto the chair, bring that knee down just as far as you can, and if you need to, then add the extra lean in, and off we go. Nice steady breathing, try and relax into the stretch if you can. Good. Okay, a few more seconds. And back down to the floor. Okay, last one now as we go on to the opposite leg. And come down into that stretch position just as much as feels comfortable for you. And off we go. That's great, and bring the foot off the chair for me. Brilliant, okay, that is the last exercise of this class for today before we move on to the cool down. So we're going to take another 20 seconds, get yourself a quick drink, and then we'll come back for our quick cool down. Okay, let's get started with our cool down. So with the cool down, we're going to be focusing on bringing that heart rate back down, bringing our breathing rates back down, and sort of just relaxing the muscles after the class that you've done. So we're going to start off nice and easy with 30 seconds of deep breathing. So for the breathing, I'd really focus on breathing in through the nose and then breathing back out through the mouth. We're wanting those nice deep breaths. So when we are breathing in, try and think about sort of filling the rib cage, and then obviously releasing on the breath out. Okay, we're going to go for 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So like I said, breathing in through the nose and back out through the mouth. And make sure, like we said, we're really trying to fill that rib cage with air when we're breathing in, and then breathing out nice and slowly. You might find that at the moment, because you've just finished the exercises, that it's a bit difficult to slow that breathing rate down, but just go at your own pace. Okay, fab. What we're going to go on to next, again, nice and easy, we're going to go on to some walking on the spots. So in the warm-up before, we were obviously trying to increase our heart rate with the marching and the jogging. This time we're trying to bring it back down. So we're going to go nice and slowly and just walk on the spots. Okay, for 30 seconds, off we go. That's great. So still swinging those arms like we were before, but obviously just in a bit more of a relaxed position on this one and going a little bit slower. That's great, that's halfway there. Five more seconds. Great, okay, this time we're going to move on to doing some hip circles. So we did these in our warm-up before, but again, a bit like the walking, we're going to bring the pace down on this one. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart, hands on the hips, and again, make the circles as small or as big as you can. And we're just going to go big circles with the hips, nice and slowly. We're going to do 30 seconds all together. Off we go. So bringing the pace down a little bit on this one, just moving through the full movement, nice and slowly. We can still concentrate on our breathing in these cool down exercises. So really trying to slow that breathing down. 10 more seconds. Great, okay. For the next movement, we're going to be going down to the floor. So take your time getting down. If you need to hold on to something, then do that. Nice and carefully onto the floor. And we're going to have the feet out in front, legs nice and straight. I want you to try and keep the knees as straight as possible with this one. And then we're going to rest the hands on front of the thighs. From here, we're just going to slide down the legs just as far as you can. And we want to grip on to our legs as close as we can to our ankles, and we're going to hold that stretch for 30 seconds. Okay, so moving down just as far as you can, and then let's hold for 30 seconds. Off we go. Still focusing on that breathing when we're doing this movement, so breathing nice and slowly in and out, and we should feel that nice gentle stretch down the back of the legs. Okay, we're halfway there. 10 seconds left. And 5 seconds. Okay, and sit back up into that relaxed position. We're going to get ourselves back up into a standing position, but again, take your time. If you need to hold on to something to help you get up, then that's absolutely fine. Okie doke. Once we're up then, for the next movement, we're going to be doing some stretches, mobility work for the middle back. So we're going to have the feet shoulder width apart again. The hands this time are going to come up behind the head. And we're going to be doing 4 different movements. So we're going to be coming down into a forward position, back up and into a slightly extended position. Then we're also going to do some flexion to the side, back up into a middle position, and over to the side. Okay, we might add in a little bit of rotation too, just to stretch a few extra muscles. We're going to go for 30 seconds. I want you to go at your own pace, and we're just going to move through all those different movements, just making sure that we're stretching all the right muscles. Okay, off we go all together. So coming forwards, back up into that slightly extended position, and back down, over to the sides, and then rotating. That's great. And again, we're going to go slightly forwards and up and slightly back. Then we're going to lean to the sides. And again, we might go slightly over 30 seconds, but we want to get all those movements back in. And the final rotation. Okay, and then bring the arms back down into our neutral position. We're going to finish off by doing 30 seconds of our deep breathing again. So we're going to go in through the nose, out through the mouth, make sure we're trying to fill that rib cage there, and then release. Okay, off we go. So hopefully this breathing will be sort of easier now. Hopefully you'll be breathing that a little bit slower. In through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, really trying to fill that rib cage with air. Down. Brilliant. Okay, well done everyone. So thank you for attending our exercise class today. We hope you've enjoyed it and we hope to see you very soon on our next session. Thank you.